Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Social Pillar. My name is Jared, and joining me as always is the wonderful Thea and the wonderful Ian. Ian, how are you?
Hey, Jared. Hey, Thea. Well, thank
Hi,
you.
Ian.
How you doing?
Hi, Thea.
Hi, Jared.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ian. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone
How are
tuning
you
in.
doing?
Welcome back to The Social Pillar. This is the ongoing conversation about role-playing games, their crafts, cultures, and communities around the world. Thea, do you want to do our acknowledgement of country, please?
Absolutely. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge that we are streaming to you from Aboriginal land. Sovereignty was never ceded. I am coming to you from Darug land, and we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay our respects to elders past and present, and extend those respects to any First Nations or Indigenous people who may be watching in whatever land you happen to be from.
Yes.
Yes. We are three forever game masters, and we are talking about some stuff. I am OMGM, dilettante. I nearly said debutante. That is not. Dilettante and dabbler. I run games. Not quite. Not by any stretch of the definition, but I do run games. I do stream sometimes, and generally I just dabble in the world of TTRPGs. Joined by the miraculous one of you two. Are we even pointing in the right direction?
Go in.
Looks good. I'll go. Okay. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for the intro as well, Thea. Thank you, Jared, as well for having us here. And my name's Ian Zammit. I'm from Roleplay Experience. Very much about building, growing the world through role-playing games one table at a time. I'm very happy to be here because I can't believe we've made 50 episodes of this thing and just building conversation. So welcome everybody here. I hand over to my third colleague here. That way, actually, Jared.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
50 episodes in, and I like how we haven't actually had that discussion of, like, we've never changed really positions on stream except for when we've had guests and everything. We really could, like, we joked on the fact that I can just do this and be like, hey, it's Thea and Ian. And, like, that's easy. But we'll work it out one day. We're only 50 episodes in. Hi, I'm Jared, also known as the GM Chef. I'm the reason we're all here through fate or fortune or unfortunate circumstances, and that's what we're celebrating. That's what we're celebrating tonight. We're celebrating 50 episodes. Yeah, what a journey. We're going to be talking about where we've come from, why we started this, why I wanted to, start putting some content out there in terms of just bringing these amazing conversations that happen amongst games masters and letting everyone know that there are so many diverse ways of running games. So we're going to dive into that in a minute. We're going to celebrate the coincidental 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons that is falling on this wonderful
just
years.
A small thing.
Just a small
Not as big
thing.
as ours. Not as big as our celebration.
Not quite, but we're gonna touch on that as well. Super excited to just dive into where we've come from and where we're going, and just celebrating what we've achieved so far, which is a good thing to do.
Which is a very exciting thing to do indeed. Now, I pulled back the curtain a little bit, but when we put our things together onto YouTube, I actually edit things. And one of the things I've noticed that I tend to do in a lot of our episodes is we get to about this point and I'm like, so what are we doing? So I'm going to change that question a little bit today and say, hey, Jared,
Hey.
what are we doing here?
Oh, what are we doing here?
Why did you bring us together? Why did you start this evil, world-shaking mission?
Oh, well, to shape and mold it to my bidding. No, I mean...
The stream goes in a different direction.
I needed a legacy to leave to the people of the world when I pass from this veil onto the next. No, it's literally as I touched on. It's just the fact that I know that because... people run, like, for every group, for every table that's being run out there, whatever system you're running, whatever story you're telling, you're probably playing it your way. So I firstly wanted to celebrate that. And I know for a fact that because you guys and every other GM that I've spoken to, between conventions, from local hobby stores, online, there's so many different perspectives. There's just this amazing thing that happens when you get a table going. Everyone does something differently. There's going to be unexpected surprises, and celebrating that, bringing that to light, the way that rules interact with different groups, the ways that different stories can be told, and the different systems that get us there, in a nutshell. So I really just wanted to make sure that we were spreading this information out there. I wanted to make sure that good, valuable conversations were going to be had, and that the community was also going to be heard. So acknowledgement to everyone who's been with us for 50 episodes and 500 more. That was my goal. Stick with me.
Nice.
But I just wanted to make sure that we were creating an amazing community. And although it's small right now, we are on a steady increase, and that's really all I wanted, was for people to recognize that there's some value out there to be said about talking about how we approach the modalities that we employ when we run our games, the thinking behind the running, not just mechanics, not just making up encounters, not just all of that and so much more.
Yeah, nice. You said something that I want to touch on there. So you talked about unexpected surprises. Thinking back on this 50 episodes, nearly said 50 years. Wouldn't that be something? 50 episodes. Have we surprised you? Oh, great social pillar father. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, it has been far more than I really expected. I think because we've got such a... Because I recognized that the conversations between Ian and yourself were going to be valuable, it was just a no-brainer to be like, I need you guys on the show with me. I've tried solo endeavors. The motivation was there, but the overall breadth of knowledge maybe wasn't. So the fact that we've been able to have 3 beautiful perspectives, and then every little sort of peek behind the curtain of other game masters running their games, game designers that we've had on, different people from different aspects of the hobby, talking about cosplay, armored combat, just all the amazing discussions, conversations that I've had with players of mine, with people who've run games for me, has been enlightening. And I, perhaps not to answer the question directly, not so surprising, but definitely enlightening. I've learned so much, and that has been very fulfilling, as well as just being able to do a cool thing and put it out there for other people to enjoy.
Ah, okay.
Can I build on that then, when it comes to, because you said about surprising Thea, which I thought was interesting too, because it's like you brought the 2 of us on, less so much about us, but what was your hope or expectation that would come from having this? What did you think would happen?
Hope would be having an impact on the tabletop role-playing community, in whatever small or broad stroke that may take, and whatever shape or form that will take. And I guess by expectations, it would be, I've learned something from a very good friend of mine, a wise gentleman, once told me when I had an important, what was it? It was an interview or a meeting. No, I was giving a speech to a school about video game addiction. So I was giving a talk to some schoolboys about that. And I was sort of running it by them. And they said, look, the idea of expectations is funny because you cannot really expect a certain outcome, only that there will be an outcome. And so that has stayed with me, in terms of it sounds a little bit sort of cynical. It's like you can't expect something great to happen or something terrible to happen, but just know that you, by acting, doing stuff in the world, by engaging with things, something will happen. So my expectation was we just keep going, we just keep doing it and seeing how far it goes, and learning from that experience. So I have learned that so much more. I've changed as a GM, as a person, and this has been a very, very worthwhile thing to do in the end.
Awesome. what about you, Ian? How have you enjoyed this journey as one of the chosen, not sidekicks, not minions,
Forever
companions?
GM.
Companions.
Forever GM.
Yeah, companions.
TSP Forever GM companion. Yeah. Well, thank you for thinking of. Actually, thank you for thinking of me, Jared. We'd been talking for a couple of years. Kind of like it was getting like to a place where we knew we had to work on something, and I remember that actually we kept talking about things. And Thea, you and I had talked about a couple of things over the years too, so it was really cool to see. We talked to a few GMs, but I had not expected something like this. So for me, I thought about this long and hard. And guys, also a big shout out to our chat who's out there. Aegir Jormungandr.
Someone who will be guesting on the show shortly.
Excellent.
So I love role-playing games generally, and it has changed my life in many, many ways, and is something that I actually would like to be something that would be a full-time thing, and I'm working towards. And not just for the sake of the joy of it, because that is definitely a great part of it. I've seen the value of how it can change lives, groups of people in particular, how people can really grow individually and as a group and within social boundaries. I started to see that, and I formed my company Roleplay Experience, and I work with that with the intention not just to bring that about and to engage people in role-playing games so that they see it for themselves, and it actually helps change every day, whether it's in work or it's just in play and engaging people. But actually it's to raise the conversation. Anything that's worth doing is talked about. Anything's worth doing is talked about by a community to see how can it work, how can we craft it, where is it useful, where does its value lie, and then how can we bring about reality to make that happen. When you brought this about, it was like, yes, we need this, because it wasn't just talking about what's the new Dungeons and Dragons supplement or how can you best do this in your game, and it was, which is fine. I mean, but there's a lot of that out there. We haven't had much communication and community discussion about what's the value of role-playing games, how does it change the way we engage with each other, you've talked about this, Jared, too, and Thea, you too, and guys in the chat, that thing at the table that something happens and people start to just latch onto that, and then they have this something you didn't plan, but together the evolving kind of part of the role-playing game and the group. It's phenomenon. It's a phenomenon in its own. And so when you call in, it was like a no-brainer. I'm so glad. And expectation-wise, I just like, let's do this. It's like you said, I didn't know where it was going to go. I just knew I was on for the ride, and I just thought, like I think we said, we'd always do it while it was fun. Yeah, which it's like so fun, and it's there's things that we're working at so we can improve and develop this. I'm so keen to see where we go from here. So. Yeah, thank you. And I hope we could, I don't know where it's going to keep. But Thea, what do you think? How did it hit you when you were asked, and where did you think it would go? Yeah.
So I think I've always been someone who likes to see where things will go. I really liked how you said that, Ian, is sort of see where this ride will take us. I really enjoyed hanging out with you two. I really enjoyed conversations with you two. And it just seemed like a very natural extension that we could do that and share it with a broader community. I love streaming. I love just the community kind of thing of it. And so this was like a really lovely coming together of things that I really enjoyed. And I was definitely up for the ride. And I like discussions. I like not picking things apart, but going into deeper levels of things. It's kind of like latching onto devil's snares. Like, it just sort of takes you where in the strange places. Ask Jared about that one later.
Yes, okay. Definitely I've got to find out about
Rosie.
But no, this is something that I think it's kind of combined a lot of things that were really appealing to me, and I thought would be a lot of fun. And going back to my intro, Dilettante, I do things that are fun. there is value in that. So this is something that I thought would be really valuable. This is one of my longer relationships, if I'm being completely honest, which for an Arrow Ace person is saying something. But I think that this has been it's been a very good experience. The regularity of it, there's been a lot of self-discovery, I think, not just on stream, but in the discussions that we've had behind it. And I think that's super valuable as well. So, this is something that is still fun. And as the dilettante and dabbler who gives up on things frequently, not gives up, I test things out and then I move on because there's nothing wrong with doing that. Yeah. This is something that has been a lot of fun and I'm happy to keep going with. And I'm loving the community that we're building as well. It is there's beautiful people out there and it's been great being able to connect with people all over the world, in fact.
Yeah. Oh, that's it's lovely to hear from both of you guys. Like I know we've each three of us have gotten much closer over this journey as well. We switch on when we're on stream, but the conversations behind the scenes have been very fulfilling, very nurturing. We tried to stick to a schedule of 10 episodes a season last year. We had a really constructive meeting and realized that we don't have to. We can do more per episode with less episodes and things like that, and just the way that we are so open with our communication is a reflection of our modality and approach to the community that we're trying to build. We want to have open, transparent, vulnerable communication, and I know the word vulnerable scares people, but when I'm saying that, I mean authentic, truthful, and open and honest. And that's where I think we try to set ourselves apart, is we're not trying to focus down on any specific perspective and say that this is the way. It's always a conversation. It's always looking at things in different perspectives, different approaches, saying what if. It's such a powerful thing, and we're prepared to do that. And I think people are waking up to the idea of, I could try a different way of doing things. I know that I've seen, we talked about, just as an example, we bring up safe gaming quite a lot, and there's definitely been spectrums of that. And I know for a fact that some people have abhorrently rejected the idea of a contract when it comes to consent at the table. There's a PDF you can get out there with a bunch of checkboxes, and people sign an agreement about what kind of content will be run at the table. That is a perspective. It is a way of doing things. Everyone at that table can agree or disagree and respectfully decide if they want to engage. So that's what I want to achieve, and I think we have, is giving everyone the opportunity to engage with us. Those who will, and we thank you for it. For everyone who doesn't feel like this is their thing, let us know, because I want to make sure that we are shaping the future of TSP with community feedback. I want to make sure that everyone gets their voice. That's why I love wrangling some guests, because again, we can brew our own sort of conversations internally, and we do have some broad experiences from different ages of D&D and different ways that we like to run digital, in person, using different tools and resources, organizing differently. But at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. And celebrating, like you said, Ian, those magic moments. Rosie in the chat, the devil snare, that is again just one little snippet of those magic moments to bring back the Curse of Strahd saga.
We cannot have a stream without mentioning the Curse of Strahd.
No, because Rosie will be on stream soon. We're working on it. But that was just one moment where he broke me as a player and as a DM. I was running something, someone cast Entanglement, whatever the friggin' spell is, and he just hits me with that, "It's Devil Snare." In that moment, in that group, with that vibe and the energy that was going, I couldn't stop laughing. I had to walk away from the table. So it's those kinds of things, and that's what I want to celebrate, is bring to light the right culture that allows those beautiful moments to be had.
Nice. Speaking of, so I mean, I think we can't really move too far without mentioning the grandparent of all TTRPGs, which is also, in case anyone wasn't tracking that, having a small 50th kind of celebration. D&D in case you weren't aware,
This year.
and I know this might be news, is having its 50th anniversary. Take a moment to breathe.
And thank you, Hatter RPG, for celebrating our 50th just now on the chat. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Hatter. Now, I think it's interesting because when we talk TTRPGs, most people think of D&D first. And I know that our first year, 2023, we spent probably quite a lot of our episodes talking about D&D and playing D&D.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to see how we've evolved since then. Because this year in particular, we've spoken about a lot more different systems.
Yeah.
We've had a go at playing different systems. So I think there has been a bit of an evolution in the way that the social pillar has sort of moved. I wonder, and I don't want to set aside D&D's 50th anniversary. It's a big celebration. Congratulations. Well done. Okay, now moving aside from that.
Well, you're talking about evolution, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're talking,
And I'm wondering, in terms of the evolution of us, has this experience of us sitting down talking every weeks, do you think it's changed the way you approach TTRPGs, both as a player and as a GM?
Jared,
Yeah.
how's it been for you? How's it changed things for you?
I don't think we have enough time, to be honest. The overall mindset has definitely changed. I'll touch on D&D for a second there, because the big explosion of 5th edition was taking the classic game that a lot of people already knew and loved, breaking it down, simplifying the rules to something that was far more approachable, quicker to learn, easier to pick up. Was a masterstroke. It was definitely the thing that this hobby needed for a massive revival. So absolutely grateful for that. It was the time where I was getting back into it after sort of dabbling with the 4th and 3rd edition in the past. And it just made sense. And I might have even said on stream, every new system that I learn, just the way my brain works is I go, so this is a thing that happens at a tabletop when a certain thing comes up. This is the mechanic that I would do this in D&D, and I kind of like lay it on the top. So it's like rolling 4 hit dice, rolling hit dice for death saves. It works like this in this game, and it works like this in this game. And I go, okay, cool. Now I totally understand what situation and when that's going to come up. So when we're talking about just the mentality of burnout, the idea of running, different themed things like horror, stuff like that, all the different topics and things we've discussed, I've definitely taken on little nuggets, little nitbits, and slowly evolved to, I would think, run better games. And if that's not if that's not what we're trying to achieve here, then we're definitely doing it from what I've seen. And obviously being behind the camera, it's like, we do have a whole conversation about what we're going to talk about beforehand, and there is a lot more. Not that you can tell, we're totally organized and perfectly scripted. There's just so much value in all the conversations that we've had, because it does allow us to reflect and kind of go, maybe I should try that. And so I would say the biggest impact has been my overall approach of what I'm trying to achieve when I'm running something. I'm not trying to, it's how am I treating the players as people? How am I engaging with them? That's always been a focus of mine, is definitely the people come first. The rules, what we're playing, the setting, everything else cascades down from that. And even more so, that's reinforced in terms of, if I'm trying to treat these people right, I need to do the right thing by them. And that means my choices for system, location where we play, online, digital, the time frame, all of these things come down to accommodating that experience that I'm trying to facilitate. And I feel like I'm doing that better than ever now.
Awesome. That's
so cool.
Gorgeous. What about you, Ian?
Do you want to answer it first? I'm happy to.
No.
It's just that you keep throwing it to me. Okay,
God, no.
I'll take it from there.
We talked about being honest.
Actually, I love the live back and forth as well, so that we actually work out what's important now. that need for the conversation now. I like that we talked about evolution, and it does link in a lot to it's kind of just echoing what's going on in the bigger world of D&D's 50th anniversary with coming into this, like as of last year when we started, D&D was going through some serious revolution, legendary line evolution, about what people expect, about what people, in fact, what it started and what people say, this is important to us. We want to have the freedom to be able to create with a baseline of a structure, and that we can take it where we want it. And that's important. It's funny about that evolution. We can see that they're about to release their 5.5 edition.
D&D 1.
D&D 1 or whatever.
Numbers.
Whatever it means.
It is nonsense. Numbers aren't real.
New iteration.
A new iteration, a new evolution of the game because of its popularity, but also what they've learned since they've opened it, and the value of multiple perspectives, about not just having race as a particular thing, and because of the connotations of that, and the conversation worldwide that has happened about how individuality is seen and how roles are seen. What does it mean by gender? What does it mean by race, sexuality, religious beliefs, etc.? This game is about exploring that, which is freaking amazing, because you can have any kind of perspective to go about it. People are starting to see that, and I think D&D is such a behemoth. It's the bigger it is, the harder it is to change it. So that's interesting, and I'm very keen to see, interested to watch where it goes. But for me, when it comes to this, I kind of, like we said, the expectation was like, I don't know, I'm just keen. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys and seeing what do we come up with and where does it go. And I had no idea about the AI Dungeon Master kind of thing. That was a whole new thing for me. So that kind of changed the way I looked at, well, how are people engaging in role-playing games? And every person we've had as a guest, the key thing I was looking forward to was the conversations. And this platform is about multiple perspectives. It's not just about this is how to do it. It's actually, I want to know different ways of doing it. How does it work for this game? How does it work for your game? What is it? We don't even do that. We'll do this. And I was like, wow. And I didn't even think of that. The what if, you said, Jared, as well. I'm loving it. It has changed the way I've been looking at my games. I've become more aware of how I run games, just like you were saying. I want to simplify things. It's actually, I've just got rid of so many rules as well sometimes now, because it's just intro games. I just want to make it a simpler, you said it, the player experience is everything to me now, and just how do we engage at that simple level? What are the key things for this RPG that we're trying to introduce? But how do people engage with that? Because people are different, and I'm really conscious of that now. That tabletop experience or online, when we have an online game, how are different people engaging with this, and how can I look at it differently? What are simpler ways, simpler processes to be able to engage that? And it's actually changed the way I do my business. I've been wanting, I can't thank you guys enough, and everyone out there as well, for the support for Roleplay Experience, as well as your businesses, guys, and for anything out there. My aim originally was basically to build up the role-playing game as something that any organization, whether it's business, not-for-profit, group of friends, can gain benefits out of. It's actually evolved in the last year to something more than that. And this is a discussion for another time. I'm going away from the games master term. There's so much that I'm not liking about master. Games facilitator I'm really liking, and so my development has shifted a little bit towards, I really want to develop RPG facilitators, role-playing games facilitators, so that whether it's for a business group, so that they work together better, they look at each other differently, and they have that what if kind of mentality when they get into that room and get away from the day-to-day to shift how they can change and work together. or if it's a group of friends who are adults who just want to have a blast, which is fun, fun. That's like part of the aim of it.
Yeah.
Or if it's for therapy, there are therapeutic benefits to this that take a particular kind of skill set. Each of these are different skill sets, and they need a sensibility, they need a set of experience, they need and the right training, I think, for it. I'm very keen to see how to develop that and even maybe certify how it works as a games facilitator. So
yeah,
it's blown up. It's fantastic. I'm loving this. I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
That's awesome.
So it has changed things. That's me. And I want to keep that conversation going and see where it goes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Thea, what do you think?
I think we've actually had an interesting suggestion in chat to be the narrator. I'm not quite sure where. It feels like someone's used that phrase in some kind of game I've heard going around recently.
I can't. Similar.
I just I can't. It's tip of my tongue. It'll come to me. But yeah, it's actually interesting. So you talk about you've sort of moved away from rules a little bit, sort of through these discussions. I have always been very fast and light with rules. They're there. They exist. I found that through our discussions, I have actually become a little bit more cognizant of adhering to rules. I've always been consistent.
Interesting.
In the chaos, but because I think rules are definitely there to keep things fair. But I've probably gone a little bit more in depth just through our discussions and just the way that we've looked at how rules facilitate gameplay and how they can shape things. So I've probably lent into rules a little bit more, although I know there's a couple of my players in chat, I'm sure that they have not noticed that. If you look at a bell curve, right, here's the middle, here's the extremes. I've gone a little closer to the center. I've not crossed over. So I think that's that. And the other thing that has changed, and I thought this was very interesting, is I'm sort of moving more towards linked campaigns, whereas I was always being sort of the one-shot person.
Solo, yeah.
And I think what I've seen and I've talked about this before, is I have the ongoing world, the persistent world in between the one-shot games. But what I'm finding is that because I've tended to have a group of players who are relatively consistent, it's morphing a little bit into campaign style. That said, it's still one-shots. You can still drop in and out. I'm not losing that essential thing, but I'm definitely more open to an ongoing campaign. I'm still not open to shopping episodes, though. Sorry, that's still not going to happen. Yeah.
I think there's a link to that, so I get.
I think there is. I think there's some things that we don't need to unpack, but I know that if I had the need to, that you would be there to support me. The other thing, and probably the third thing that I've noticed, and yes, Hattie, you cannot get away with your shenanigans. Of course you can. I love shenanigans. Is that I've lent more into creating games. So I've always liked the idea of making maps, but I think I've been inspired to create systems. I don't remember if I spoke about this on stream or off, but the K-pop TTRPG, where that would be a game. I've got ideas. I tend to sit here scribbling notes.
Briefly.
Yeah, briefly. Yes. But I also have ideas for sort of video-based type things. So I've got all these notes about creating games, which is something that I don't think I would have seen myself as having the patience for starting this. It's I am very much what are we doing now? The hedonist. What's fun right now? And if it's hard work, I can wait till later. But I think that that's something that, talking particularly to some of the creators that we've had on as guests, and the sort of the satisfaction and the joy that they had in the journey, is something that I've certainly enjoyed. I spoke about creating games, and I've manifested a Perdicious welcoming. Another person who will have to get in as a guest at some stage. Yeah, K-pop pop. Oh, a monk extravagant. No. Hatter? No. Bad pun. But yeah, so I think that's sort of been part of my journey. I'm still really enjoying it. And what I love about the relationship that the three of us have is that it's always been clear that if we're not enjoying it, we'll stop. And simply because we haven't stopped, clearly we're still enjoying it.
Seems to be.
And I love the community that we've got. think I said that before, but there are some great people that have joined. I'm going to call them Pillarites, I think. And I
Yeah,
said,
We've got to lock it in at some point.
We need to, yeah.
We've danced around the idea of giving our chat a name, and I think Pillarites has been our working in progress title.
Yeah.
So thank you all the Pillarites out there. I just wanted to sort of digest these fun perspectives real quick, if I may. It's just something I've just thought of is our overall approach has been this a little bit more organic, a little bit more freeform. And for those who understand it, I would call it a Montessori style of teaching in a way.
Yeah.
I went to a Montessori primary school for a few years before I realized, my parents realized I needed structure and discipline. Much like yourself, Thea, I love just diving super deep into something. I'll absolutely immerse myself in something and eventually just kind of put it aside. Learned how to do a Rubik's Cube a couple of years ago. Recently retaught myself because I thought, I should refresh on that skill. Didn't touch it for years. But things like TTRPGs, it's interesting because there's so many facets of creation. There's map making, there's plot designing, there's the creative voices that I can do, all the little sort of facets of it, and the fact that I can take a lot of other things that I enjoy, like film and television and video games, and that can help me influence it. So it's this multifaceted thing for me. And what you were saying, Ian, as well, the idea of not saying that this is the one way or like this is the best or anything like that. It's, as I was sort of saying, it's this freeform sort of education that we're doing in a way. And it's an odd thing to say because it is very much about initiating a thought process, because for me at the moment I'm sort of reteaching myself how to generate local AI art on my computer, and like if anyone has dabbled behind the veil of that, it is incredibly complex. I'm not going so far as to coding, but like all the parameters and things you have to understand to get a solid quality image. I'm loving that. I'm nerding out so hard. Started a couple of years ago when that boom started, and now I've come back around and seeing what the status of the community is there. It's very interesting because that's evolving so quickly, and because new ways of doing things are coming out all the time. There isn't really an ability for you to, like, you can watch a YouTube video and someone will be like, okay, you set up this and you install that, and then this is how you do this specific thing. We could be doing stuff like that, but the value I find is really going on things like Reddit and seeing that there are discussions where someone's like, hey, I'm trying to do this and I want to do this. And then you'll have 50 people posting different ways of how they've achieved that. That is how I'm really learning to do this, because suddenly I've got 50 different perspectives and I'm going, cool, this person wants to fix their weird AI hands. So someone's going to say, I use this extension, I use this LoRa, I use this plugin, I'm using this model, etc. And I go, okay, well, now I've got options. Providing the options to people to try on different things, do the what ifs, and just saying, look, we know that there are definitely challenges when it comes to running games. The idea of game master, I love that you touched on that, Ian. It's something that's always been a bug of mine. The title master is the idea that you've put 10,000 hours in to master any, to whoever that author was. It's an insane sort of prospect if you're getting into this hobby for the first time or GMing for the first time. You're not going to be a master of anything. Very few people are. And it's always going to be about growing and learning along the way. And we're celebrating that, I think, specifically in this episode. Yeah. But every episode we do is a step in a better direction, a better tomorrow, and better games for all.
Are we sure we're not starting a cult or a revolution here? Because I'm getting a lot of rhetoric which is ringing those bells.
We're not getting people to sign up for anything.
So there'll be a link.
Please do click like and subscribe.
Show your appreciation in whatever way that you feel happy doing so, whether that's hanging out live in the chat, sharing this video with someone. That's all we ask, because I'm going to rehash the question that was asked to me in the future. My hopes is that we do have an impact, if only on one gaming table. That we help someone overcome a challenge that they're going through, give them the confidence to try new things, to start game mastering, because it is this special, wonderful, cozy experience that you get when you've achieved this for someone.
Yeah.
When you've been able to be the facilitator. Yeah. So run some games. Get good.
I love that. So our chat is fantastic. I'm loving that we have masters not being masters. I love Purdy's way of getting around the game master. But what I really love is the revolution begins, seize the means of inspiration.
The means of inspiration.
Wow.
We will.
But yeah, we should have that as an episode talking about sort of terminology in games, starting with Game Master or Dungeon Master to spring off from. Because, I mean, there's so much to talk about. It's so gendered, all these sort of things.
Yeah.
However, where was I going with that?
I think the question you were looking for is, where are we going? To the future. Looking forward.
Yes. Where are we looking forward? So we've got 50 episodes, my dear friends. Now we need to sit down and have a serious discussion. I've brought you both here.
Okay.
We need to talk.
Oh no.
Are we going to keep going?
Yeah, I bloody
What is
hope
next for the social pillar?
Yeah.
What do we do?
If you guys are keen out there, please let us know, because we're keen. So I believe for the future, I mean, like long term. So we won't talk about what's happening directly after this.
I probably should have been more specific. Generically, what do we want? Where are we?
What are we doing after this episode?
Guys, where are we going? What is this? What are we? Can I just say, this is the only time I get to have these conversations.
And
what are we?
I'm here for it.
But no, like, what are we
Ian,
looking
thoughts?
forward to? Yeah.
I've been really enjoying getting the guests on board. I mean, that's been really being able to get those different perspectives, which is the conversation. That's the whole point, to be able to see why are people playing RPGs? Why have they created their own, or what are they doing with it, or all these different perspectives, and how. Like having Renato, a very good friend of ours who's in Collecticon as well, and getting his perspective on things just shifted things seismically for me. And I think it did for the both of you too. So it was really nice just to hear these. And so I'm really looking forward to different perspectives, more guests. Just trying you both have this dilettante kind of idea of how do you break the format, or how do you use it differently? How do we engage differently? Because it's like just being able to try new RPGs and explore those with people and go, how is this different? This is a new way of engaging that's beyond what we know, particularly with D&D. This is one thing I'm really keen to look at the different RPGs and how it changes our experience of what we expect out of an RPG, or the group experience at a table, and what it does that's different from we're going on a high fantasy adventure in the mold of Lord of the Rings. Like just being able to explore what it would be like to be like tiny little creatures or something living on a dust mote and trying to get to the next one, or whatever it would be, just something different about existence, the way that we look at things. Very existential, I know. But I'm thinking, I'm keen to just see how this format's going to shift and change over time. I'm very keen with that. And what madness will come up with next, I guess. That's it.
What madness lies ahead.
Speaking of madness, the video feed for you, Ian, has been so choppy, and I think there is. I don't know what's happening.
For some reason, it's not like I'll just keep.
I don't know why. But that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, it's an effect. It's intended. Same as like my jacket keeps phasing out.
It was very dramatic.
When we actually have our podcast and people are listening to this, don't worry.
Don't
not
worry.
a problem.
It's fine.
Do not see the man behind the curtain.
No, look at that.
Ian, that
was me.
Beautiful.
What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, that's really beautiful. It definitely comes from, like, my hope towards the future is it's now coming from a slightly different place. Knowing that we've been able to achieve something is instilling me with more confidence to do more. We've got plans sort of lined up in the queue, and I'll just say we're stacking the deck a little bit more, but we're still drawing it one card at a time, I guess is the best metaphor I can come from. Yeah, we're stacking the deck in our favor because we've got some things in the pipeline that we want to bring, and we want to increase the value, we want to increase our reach, and we are strategizing towards that. So that's going to be very exciting. And other than that, I'm just so excited that even during episodes, I'm coming up with other episode ideas. There's definitely an inexhaustible, at this point, I cannot see the end of the rainbow of conversations that we can have. And I know for a fact, as you said, Ian, bringing different people in, more guests, which we might even achieve a whole season of just guests coming up because my reach to the community has got to the point where I'm finding other people making RPGs, publishing them, designing the art for them. And I'm just absolutely enraptured with the idea of sharing more conversations with more people who are creating stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm really excited for is just being able to reach more people, do cooler things, and have other amazing people involved with the project for sure.
Awesome.
That's cool, man.
Well, since no one's going to ask me, I'll say what I'm looking forward to.
Actually, I just have a question.
The floor is yours.
Yes, Ian. What is the question you have for me?
We've been talking about how it's evolved for you over time, but I'm keen to see where you think this is going. What would mean something to you for where this could go?
That is a wonderful question, Ian. Thank you for asking. Let me see. More of this. I'm loving the chaos. I think that we all bring varying degrees of chaos, and I really enjoy that. And linked into that, I really am looking forward to playing more. Both playing in the literal sense, playing some more games. We've been talking about trying out different systems, and I think we should. I think there is magic when the three of us get together and play a game. I like the idea if we have chat as an extra player, all these sort of things. But on a more, I guess, esoteric level, I'm looking forward to continuing to play with you guys. I have so much fun every time we get together. It's kind of like a little kid play date, you know? And I appreciate the tolerance that you both have, because you may not realize it, dear viewers, but we do have plans for most of these. And you also may not realize that the disruptor of those plans and going off script first may be the person wearing the blue scarf. But it's fun. And I appreciate you guys for accepting that is just something I do and having fun with
100%.
it. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is continuing having fun. This is fun.
Hey.
Let's do more of it.
I think we will.
Playing more games, I'm keen for that as well. It's like the main run of this as well that we have for TSP, being that engagement with guests and talking about ideas is what I feel like this is what sells this as well.
Yeah.
But the breakaways that we have now and then to be able to play, which is the whole purpose of this, and to explore and just to try things out, having the Finding Fantasy game that you did earlier, Jared, I was just like,
awesome.
just sitting back to watch and see where it goes. And the chat's like, do this. And we're like, don't do that. That's going to be deadly. But it's just
do it. Do the thing.
Fun. I completely agree. On that note, I know that, Jared, you've had a chance to introduce us to Dragonbane, and Thea introduced us to Star Trek Adventures. So
someone is not pulling their weight.
It's not. Hey.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a gentle prod of encouragement, Ian. That's what I heard.
Love. That was with love.
I take it on board, and I'll say, look out, because when it comes, I'm going to expect the stepping up here, guys. This is it. So what it's going to be is look forward to it in the next season. We talked a bit about it. It's derby drama. You guys are going to be on different sides. You're going to actually put a team together through whoever's in chat, and it's you guys against each other in a derby drama kind of race off.
Oh no!
So it's going to be, and it's
Jared, I'm so sorry for what's about to happen to you.
Can't wait.
It's the best thing about it is it's a lot of fun. What's happened with our?
What's happened with our?
I'm trying to fix it. Not gonna lie. Don't worry about
We're all
it.
looking very thoughtful.
Nobody worry about it.
We're all looking very thoughtful. Ian is, for anyone who is still in chat, we are still here.
We're
Please
still
let us know if
here.
you can
Don't
still
panic.
hear us.
You can probably
Fine.
hear it.
Hey, we're back. Well,
I can't
I'm
fix
back.
it. It's all good.
I'm back.
Just keep me with that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
so good. On that note, yeah, the whole idea was something different. Derby drama, kind of like that whole kind of like racing around on roller skates and this. It's completely different to what we usually do, and I just thought it would be a bit of fun. So we'll do that next time. We'll do that next
I
semester.
love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we are starting to close in on our
Aw.
self-appointed
Carrier.
timeline. By the way, according to chat, Ian, you may have been the carrier
I think
for
so.
the freeziness. I don't know
yeah,
what's
it's
going
coming
on. Our AI overlords are angry because we have not allowed them to run another game for us. That's something we should do next. But we are running out of time. What is happening? What is happening soon? We talked about general ideas. We talked about what we want to do from a
broad
general
vision.
sense. What's happening in a specific sense?
Is that me?
We're taking a
That is
break.
you.
What is me?
Are we taking
Ian,
a
I
break?
feel that it's so in the roles that we've adopted. Ian is the wise. I'm going to stick with wise.
Shepherd.
You're
He's
very.
a shepherd. Oh my gosh, we should come up with like little characters that reflect the way we are in stream. Ian can be the shepherd.
Okay.
I kind of want to be some kind of gremlin. But anyway, what's happening next?
Well, what's happening next, dear friends out there as well? I'm so glad you are still out there in chat and giving us highlights and redeeming things. Thank you. Thank you, everyone out there.
What's coming is more redeems, I promise.
It's beautiful, guys. We're having a winter break after our 50th episode. It's perfect timing.
Mhm.
We're going to be off for quite a while, about 2 weeks, actually, as in the standard run of this kind of engagement that we have here. Tinker, plot, plan. There are things coming in the future that we're looking at. But be not afraid. We have things coming. We will be having a few recaps of some of the episodes we do love from before. We'd love to hear if there's anything you'd like to see again that we can run. But there's going to be some cozy specials where we get to play and we get to do things over the next 6 weeks as we prepare for we're going into our winter season, which will be there. We'll be back on the 8th of the 8th, the luckiest day of the year, 8th of August. So it's a fair way away. Put that in your calendars. But there'll be a few things en route. So keep your eyes on Facebook, keep your eyes on your calendars and on Twitch.
And on YouTube.
Yeah.
So anybody
Also
who's been
YouTube.
following along on our YouTube channel will note that while most of the episodes are up, not all of our live play games are up. So during the break, there will be these live plays that we keep talking about will be coming out. So please do, if you've not already, head over to our YouTube. Subscribe if you want to. It just means that you'll be updated when things come out. And also we have a Facebook, but more importantly, we have a Discord. If you are not already a member of our Discord, please do come along. I'm sure the link will appear shortly in the chat. But that is where we will keep this conversation happening. If you have ideas, please, we'll be able to post them there. And that's where most of our announcements of some of these new and exciting things will happen. But we are very keen for you to be part of this community, and we are very keen to continue this conversation, but not for this evening.
That's it. That's enough. That's all we have time for, unfortunately. Thank you, everyone, for being with us for 50 episodes. Here's to 50 more and beyond. That's it, really. Thanks so much for tuning in. Of course.
Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
If Ian's the shepherd, as you said, Theo, I'll take the title of TSB Dad.
The youngest.
We'll make it happen. Or whatever. We'll find
All right,
it.
surprise. Yes, Purdy.
Thank you, everyone. It's been an amazing journey so far. It's been an amazing episode, but unfortunately, we do have to end it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Bye for now. And stay tuned for some cozies. We're going to hang out and just have some fun.
Keep the conversation going, everyone. Talk up RPGs, talk it up, and we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Mwah.
Bye.